Welcome. You've splash landed into this Prosecco-laden podcast, straight into the woo-woo pool with the crew of Ohm-g. We're just a simple group of tragically imperfect and highly empathic BFFs, exploring a wide range of atypical topics with humor, grace, and curiosity. This is Ohm-g. Welcome to our second episode of 2026. It's my turn to surprise the crew with a random topic. You're here with the crew of
Ohm-g, the podcast.
This is Camille.
This is Lynn. This is Bridge Sue. And this is Chandra. Welcome back, everybody.
Okay, so like I said, Camille here. It's my turn to surprise the ladies with a random topic. As you all know, heartbreak, division, and injustice are rampant across the U.S. right now. It would be so easy to go off on a political tangent and to vent endlessly about usurpers and enemies. How we've learned nothing from history. How can this be happening? Cue the violins. But I know you hear this all day, every day, and from every direction. There are excellent political podcasts doing that already. The prevailing cry I hear from friends and family is, "Oh my God, somebody do something." But what? I have withdrawn. I have wept. I have protested. I've left voicemails for those in power. I've commiserated with friends. I've argued with loved ones. I've eaten too much. I've drank too much. I posted more than my share of snarky memes on social media. Yay me. Today I want to talk about more personal solutions. And I want the Woo crew to do the same. It is 2026, the year of the fire horse, and action is the way. Baby steps are welcome and accepted. I myself have given up coffee. It's day 11, and I still want to choke people out. But hopefully, my cortisol levels are lower. So, how are my peeps staying sane in times like these? Anybody?
Who's sane? That's my question. Anybody sane in this room?
Well, that wraps the episode.
We'll catch you again.
You know, I was just having this conversation with someone else, so I'm not even surprised that we're having this today.
If I were empaths too.
It is. I am doing my best to hold the light. And it's not easy on some days, because some days I get on social media and become a tyrant. It's not a tyrant, but I get on social media and post more than my fair share, but I keep saying that we have to, instead of approaching it with anger, we should be approaching it with love for humanity.
Yes, and how difficult that is to do.
So very difficult to do.
Yeah. I was actually walking in the woods this morning before we recorded, and I was having the same conversation with myself, like, what can I do? In the last episode, we talked about the card I pulled about being the witness without judgment. And I'm like, I don't like that. I don't want to do that. But
that doesn't feed my rage.
Right. But this morning, I was really thinking about maybe I just need to go off of social media altogether. Just need to purge myself from the shit show, because it makes me so angry what am I going to do? I don't know what kind of big change I can personally make. I'm not a lawmaker. I'm not sitting up in Washington, being able to make that kind of difference. I can make a difference in my community or with my friends. I can love people that I see. I can have conversations with strangers that maybe, hopefully, it will make their day better. But what can I actually do right now to help?
Yeah.
And maybe disengaging from the social media machine that is feeding us the anger, the frustration, all the things that we're feeling. Maybe just cutting myself off from that will change my energy vibration, and maybe that helps in some way.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. That was my thought this morning about just totally saying screw it all to social media anyway, and watching the news.
Yes.
I had the exact same thought this morning, because my husband, being in the position that he's in and having to manage people, and not only manage people, but manage people's emotions
Mm-hmm.
in the workplace. He's the type that tends to want to garner information and grab it from every perspective and then make his own decision. So he's the type that if it's news time, he'll flip from one channel to the other and he'll watch 3 or 4 different things and make his own. But I feel inundated and I feel overwhelmed. And I feel like 2 hours of that a day is
way too much.
way too much. He's a different mindset. Like, he's very stoic. He's very self-assured. He's probably one of the most grounded people I've ever met because he can change it and quiet his mind like that. And this bitch can't shut nothing up.
Yeah.
While leaving the residual hanging over you.
Right. So, I mean, which great for him. I envy that in him, actually. So that was one of my thoughts is like, okay, he feels like he needs that to be able to do his job effectively. But that doesn't stop me from getting up and walking out of the room. Like, just because I think it's better to sit with him and be with him when he's home. Is that really better for me? Or should I just get up and go do something else while he does that?
Put on the noise canceling headphones and listen to something that's going to make you feel better.
Listen to a meditation or take the dog outside or whatever. But I mean, I could make that decision. So I was kind of having the same like conversational argument with myself in my head of, I could stop sitting here listening to, and even though I'm not like actively listening to it,
You still hear it.
Yeah.
And the vibrate. Yeah.
Yeah. Say it's just like hypnosis. You're like,
I think I'm not paying attention, but I'm still picking it up.
Yeah.
and so it gets like 2 hours. I would be in the backyard digging my own grave.
Yep.
I'm the past 2 weeks have really like made a big difference. And I'm talking about like when he was home, like an hour in the morning to watch the news, an hour in the evening to watch the evening news. And like my grandfather was the same way. He had to see what the weather was going to do in the morning. Well, but and you know, God bless him, he was a farmer most of his life. So what's the weather going to do in the morning? And is it the same story at night? You know, what's it going to do tomorrow? So, I mean, I guess I don't fight it as much because I kind of grew up that way with someone that did that. But yeah, I mean, it's better now that he's going back to work, but
Go to work, honey.
Well, at least we only get one sesh a day. But I mean, I'm rambling. But I say all that to say I can make an active decision if I don't want to get that much of that particular
Engage.
information.
You guys were talking about feeling the need to just get the hell off social media. I do a great job of not watching the news, but I will excuse these little YouTube clips I watch here and there. But social media, I even thought as an episode idea for the future. What if we all stay off social media for 1 week and then come back and talk about it?
I'd be down for that.
Is it possible?
Lynn, can you do that?
No, because that's how I keep up with a lot of my family and friends.
It's exactly the same here and my business.
Well, and I was thinking the same thing. And like, you know, like even if I did it from my personal sites, I'm still on there it's like I'm the one that posts stuff for the podcast. So if it happens to be a week where we need to post something for the podcast and you can't tell, I mean, I know myself, I'm not going to open it up and not swipe a little bit. I'm gonna scroll a minute, you know.
But also, like, I get like Brenda's talking about, and, you know, Chan, you're talking about pulling back from social media. But because of the political climate these days, I've actually been more active on social media. Not being like mean, but just saying things to try to help people get enlightened. So I'm using mine from a different space. Do you know what I mean? And I'm trying not to read comments because that just pisses me off.
Yeah, I was going to say, you can't enlighten people who don't want to be enlightened.
You know?
Or not get their feedback on the enlightenment.
But the thing is if you plant a seed, it's always about planting a seed. And I won't ever say that you can't get people to become enlightened, because if you say that, then that's what you're creating. But I do have I have a friend on social media, and he's Republican and a Christian. And I put him the nicest note, and I meant every word I said, that I so appreciate him, and he is the only reason that I have any hope for Republicans or Christians these days, because he is the most level-headed person that I've ever seen. And so I think stuff like that is good for me to see. Do you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Yes. Oh, yes. Yes. He's old school, like when I was growing up. Yeah.
Mhm.
But things like that, for me, I think they're good for me to see, because it gives me hope that there are still people that are railing against some of the things that are going on. So
The craziness.
the craziness, yeah. Yeah. But also, I like to plant those seeds of hope, and sometimes I just like to shine a light on things. Sometimes in a snarky way.
That's my favorite way of putting my opinion out there on social media. I don't care to get too deep necessarily. I keep my Facebook page to just 250 friends, and I'll call one or two if a new one comes along. But a meme that hits the nail on the head is just right up my alley. I would much rather have an eye-to-eye conversation or a deep talk with people of opposing views and kindly work it out, or be able to say, wow, that's a new perspective. I haven't considered it that way. And in our last episode that we just finished, we talked about how understanding people's backgrounds contributes to their perceptions and contributes to how we see each other and the direction we're coming from. When it makes no freaking sense in my life for me to believe that way, I can still look a little further and look at the asterisk above that person's opinion and try to understand. And I think I get better about that as I get older. But there are some things that will still, kind of what Lynn was talking about earlier. The masses deserve food and healthcare and love and empathy and understanding. There's a difference in politics and there's a difference in morals. And sometimes we veer back and forth like a sauerkraut. But at some point, politics invades every section of our life right now.
Mhm.
It used to be that way.
Right.
And I know we can't go back, but I want to go forward in a kinder manner.
Mhm. Y'all know I lived in Sweden. I'm just going to throw out the Sweden card. But it's, if you look at the way that they have their, not that it's perfect, obviously no government is perfect, but you look at the different structures, and like, I would say every person in Sweden, except maybe people who were coming in as refugees, not sure about their financial position, but everybody made a living wage. Everybody had a home. Everybody had food to eat. Everybody had a vacation every summer that was paid for by their employer. Everybody had what they needed. And I think that we don't have health care for everybody. We don't have these things that are like basic things that people need to have in order to be safe, right? That root chakra issue, that safety and security. And once we have that, then we can look outside of ourselves. We can look at spiritual growth, personal growth. What do we want to learn? What do we want to do? But whenever we are always in this fight or flight of, how am I going to get food? If I get sick and have to go to the doctor, how am I going to pay for it? Then you're living in that survival mode all the time. And that's not about growth. That's just about freaking surviving. So there's a lot of conversations to be had about how we do things.
And that just leads to mental health issues and mental health crisis in this country.
Mm-hmm.
And when your basic human needs are met, I don't think you spend a whole lot of time worrying about what the hell's going on in the house across the street.
Right.
Or what the people down the block believe, or the fact that your family doesn't quite see budget issues the way you do.
Mm-hmm.
It's keeping us in a state of fear and consumption.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's the difference. And I'm also very cognizant of the fact that we live in a diverse country of 350 million people? How many people does Sweden have? That's much more manageable.
Right.
That's like a classroom of 10 versus a classroom of 40.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, any sane teacher would go crazy.
And how many different nationalities are we, and how many different backgrounds are we that everybody comes from their own family dynamics of maybe they all came from a different country. And so they have those dynamics of things that they do or didn't do. And we're all so different.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what makes us makes us great is our diversity.
It is what makes it great, but it also is part of the reason that like a one size fits all solution, it makes it that much harder to find a solution that works
For everybody.
for everything. Everybody. I mean, it's not that it's not doable. It's just the challenge of it.
Mm-hmm.
So, other than doing a little social media escape, and obviously we should be doing things like meditating and going within more and trying to change ourselves more and do better for ourselves because it does raise our vibration. And when I raise my vibration, you can't tell me it doesn't trickle a little bit onto the person next to me, whether it's a lifelong friend or a stranger. What are some other solutions that come to your minds as far as how we can go forward in 2026 and shake things up in a beautiful way?
I think just being kinder to everybody, like being more open, being like smiling at people, make sure your neighbors are all right if you have neighbors that want to conversate with you. Those are little ways that you can make a difference. And I hide somebody in my attic if I need to.
Absolutely.
I would too.
Mm-hmm.
Just saying, there's a portal up there, but
You might disappear. They might disappear right through the portal.
I mean, other than random YouTube clips and dog and kitty videos, which are always primo, in my opinion, I just love seeing the videos that someone happens to capture. Nothing's staged, but someone parking their car at an intersection and jumping out to help the elderly person on a walker get across the street safely. Or someone going up to a random stranger who looks sad and handing them a flower or stuff like that.
Or just saying hello and smiling at them. I mean, that can make a difference in somebody's day. You never know what somebody else is going through.
well, energy attracts energy.
Mm-hmm.
So the more good energy you put out, the more good energy you're going to see around you.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's a great thing. It's just to start being kind to people.
And that's why I need to withdraw from social media.
We've come full circle.
Because like I find myself, I'm watching these things of people being harmed, and I find myself going out to my walking place and feeling fear.
Mm-hmm.
See, I don't feel fear. I feel anger.
I mean, I got some mace, but I feel
Well, you know what?
fear. What could happen?
I'll take the bear.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I'll take the undocumented immigrant in the woods too.
I absolutely hear what you're saying 100%. And I vacillate a lot between fear, but the more everything goes on, for those of you who don't know, today is a portal day. It is the day of our recording, January the 11th, 1/11.
Please take us into a new dimension.
I'm saying, but there have been some recent happenings, most recently on the 7th, where ICE is just overstepping and hurting innocent people. And we could riff on that for a long ass time. I know that this will continue. And I also know that things are going to get better. But I digress. What I feel when I see all of these clips and all of these things is rage. And part of me wants some hellacious revenge. And I have to work very hard to control that feeling because who am I hurting? I'm hurting me. It's my blood pressure that's going up. It's my feelings of rage. It's the times that I felt downtrodden and they all come bubbling up. And then part of me, the logical side is like, okay, well, you're a white woman in America. Do you deserve to feel all of this rage? Because this kind of crap has been happening to other people for forever without so much as a backlash. And then it creates that little turmoil in my gut. And I have to get back to less social media, more self-love, change myself, look in the mirror, and hope that that goodness radiates out there. So anyway, I started with no coffee to lower my cortisol. And I'm open to other ideas. And I sure as hell hope we can graduate into something kinder as the year moves forward.
I think it begins with us. Oh, 100%. It begins, as Michael Jackson said, with the man in the mirror.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was listening to Pam Gregory and Lee Harris this morning before we started. I didn't get to finish their conversation about January, but she really has removed herself. She got rid of her TV like 6 years ago or something like that. And he's had to remove himself from like the news, and he'll see things here and there, but still being like, with them being who they are, intuitive, astrology, they know what's the possibility, a possible timeline. And so they were talking about that a lot today. I thought it was really interesting. If anybody's interested in going to check out Pam Gregory's conversation with Lee Harris on, I think it came out today, so January 11th. Just something to give a little bit of hope. And I feel like listening to things like that can be really helpful. People who aren't fear-mongering, they're trying to help other people come into a place of love, even if you watch the news or you watch TV or you watch movies, and that helps you regulate your nervous system. That was what he was talking about. She was like, I have no TV. But he was like, but for some people, watching a good movie helps them regulate their nervous system. So everybody has to do what's best for them. So it's not one thing solves everybody's problems. Everybody has got to do what's best for them I feel like we all need to regulate our freaking nervous systems, because mine has been all jacked up. Upside down, left and right.
They just said it, get coffee. What more?
So it's regulating my nervous system right now. I'm just petting the dog.
Get a dog, get a cat.
Mm-hmm.
Find somebody to love, even if it's an animal. I mean, they're probably better than people, honestly.
That's some unconditional right there.
That is.
But yeah, anyway, just kind of wanted solutions and wondering what everyone's going to do to try and put a better foot forward, because as we've said, maybe not so eloquently, but it all starts with us.
Mm-hmm.
Every single bit of it. And I want to do better. I want to be better, and I want to spread better.
Like butter.
My bet's to approach it with love and not anger.
Yeah.
That's not easy, but
It isn't easy.
it isn't easy. I'm working very hard to love humanity.
Yeah.
Because I feel like if I can put love out to humanity, it will raise the vibration of humanity.
I think so too.
If I stand there and put anger out, then it's just going to raise the anger vibration.
Yeah.
That's my goal for 2026.
Taylor, you got to go. You just going to try to live and exist and try not to die and hurt anybody.
Next breath. That's all.
Yeah.
I'm just, can I take the next one? And if I do that one, will there be one after it?
Some days it's like that. Some years it's like that.
But one thing I have been thinking about changing this year is I'm very Gemini, very in my head, hate being in my body, very uncomfortable in my body. But doing something to try to move more, just to move more energy through myself.
Preach, girl.
Just because, and as I've started like the spiritual stuff, I have become more aware of when those like panic attack kind of feelings happen, that I can move it if I will move it.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't have to just sit there and stew in it.
Right.
But I just like, when you know the solution, but you don't really like the solution, you're not supposed to take this. But I feel like if I can find something that I will do on a consistent basis, to even if it's just laying in the floor and like rolling side to side, or whatever, but just right, but just something to move some of the energy through myself.
Yeah. There's that thing that you can do, where you stand with your feet planted and you twist your torso and you let your hands hit your back on the other side. That's supposed to be really good for regulating the bilateral stuff. So that's, call it a New Year's resolution, call it a whatever you want to call it. But that's just one of the thoughts that I've had, is like, maybe that would help me. So if I can transmute my own shit, if all of us would just transmute our own shit, then maybe that would help.
It's true. And I absolutely empathize with this, because just like you used to chamber, I've got a water, moon, and rising sign. And to me, there is comfort and clarity in stillness. But I also recognize that stillness can lead to stagnation. 100% guilty of that, mentally, physically, emotionally. And same. I do feel the need to move more in this action year of the fire horse. And I'm down for it.
Get on that fire horse and ride it. All right. Take care of yourselves.
As best you can.
Find ways to self-regulate, move your energy.
Grounding.
Love each other. That's going to be my tagline for the rest of the year. Just love each other, for God's sake.
And know that we love you.
Yes, absolutely. All right, peace out, folks.
See you next time.
Bye.
Thank you for joining us today. Please follow and subscribe to our podcast on Apple, Stitcher, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts, and leave a review. It's so easy to do and such a huge help for us. We appreciate your interactions so much. Want to join us at our table? Make sure to check out our YouTube channel and join our Facebook community. If you've enjoyed this content and wish to support us, take a look at our Patreon page. All information and links will be in our podcast description. Catch you next time.
This podcast is part of the Sound Advice FM network. Sound Advice FM, women's voices amplified.